Ayurveda perspectives towards prevention and management of nicotine and alcohol dependence. A review. This is by Renu Rathi and Bharat Rathi in the 2020 Journal of Indian System of Medicine. Abstract. Nicotine and alcohol are the most widely consumed psychotropic drugs worldwide. The common use of both increases the risk of non-communicable diseases to many folds. Ayurveda has widely described Sadvriti, good conduct, and Sattvavajja Chikitsa, Ayurveda psychotherapy, which can be applied in this context along with replacement therapy and medicines described in Madhyaya chapter of the Sharak Samhiti Chikitsathana. The aim of this study was to highlight the concepts of prevention and management of addiction by various principles of Ayurveda. Major causes of addiction in younger age include genetic predisposition, environmental factors, parental negligence, pragvaparat, intellectual blasphemy, dushita ahara, unhealthy diet regime, and search of pleasure or stress reliever. If there is a delay in tackling these problems in early stages, these may turn into menace to health later. Achur Rasayan, Sadvriti, and Sadvarjay Shiktsya are the preventative as well as the curative measures of de-addiction. Ayurveda also advocates medicated smoke, dhumpan, and alcohol, that is, drakshava, shrikansava, and so on, as replacement therapy, a use of daily and seasonal regimen, and dosha shodhan, elimination of vitiated humors, in day-to-day life is essential to prevent and treat addiction problems. In a nutshell, change in lifestyle, adoption of Ayurveda treatment principles, control on intellectual blasphemy, and environmental issues are directly concerned to deal with addiction problems. The measures adopted for the management of addiction ailments at initial stage also require strong willpower, meditation with counseling, and family friends support. Introduction. In India, 60% of the people are dependent on various products containing tobacco, whereas 30% with alcohol addiction, which is the main gateway of other more toxic drugs. Nicotine and alcohol are the most common leading causes of preventable morbidity and mortality. Tobacco and alcohol consumption often together create more health hazards. Dependence on alcohol and tobacco is also correlated, as people who are dependent on alcohol are 3 times more likely to be smokers, and people who are dependent on tobacco are 4 times more likely than the general public to be dependent on alcohol. The addiction causes not only physical morbidity, but also mental and social one. Underage dependence on these toxic substances is becoming a new challenge and continuously is on the rise in India. Owing to the environmental effect, if people adopt this habit, then it will become difficult to get rid of more hazardous effects on developing brains. The harmful use of alcohol results in the death of 2.5 million people annually. Every year, the mortality rate due to the consumption of nicotine is increasing in India. Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment undertook different surveys to assess the addiction problems such as the National Household Survey, NHS, Drug Abuse Monitoring System, DAMS, and Rapid Assessment Survey, RAS. Nicotine is the main gateway to the other drugs, so needs to be prevented from getting addicted. There is not much description found in Ayurveda and research articles related to tobacco addiction, but the same Ayurveda principles can be applied as mentioned for alcohol to get de-addicted from both substances. The main withdrawal effects of both the substances are anxiety, irritability, sleeplessness, anger, palpitation, perspiration, headache, muscle cramps, and so on. It affects each and every organ of the body. Arteriosclerosis and premature degeneration of vital organs lead to stroke, heart diseases, asthma, cancer, and neuritis. The aim of this study was to carry out a root cause analysis along with the scope for prevention of dependence problems and to highlight the possible role of Ayurveda principles as a multimodal approach at a time to tackle the same. This review may prove as a torchbearer to researchers and readers for the prevention and management of addiction problems through Ayurveda. Observations and results. In Ayurveda, addiction is mentioned under Madhya chapter, which is about alcohol dependence. Owing to overdrinking of alcoholic beverages, Vata, Pitta, and Raja Tama get vitiated. People get addicted easily, demanding increasing doses for pleasant effect. Until and unless they do not get it, they remain restless and uneasy as its withdrawal effects appear fast. They become ready to do anything wrong for obtaining these drugs. Tobacco products are considered as constipation reliever, but it is a myth. There is no description of tobacco plant found in Britatis, and it is described very briefly in the Bhav Prakash Hantu. It is warned that the leaves are addictive and dangerous to health, except slightly useful in toothache, and for a hot fermentation to reduce pain and swelling. Regarding alcohol, Achura have described in detail about Madhya symptoms, the idiopathogenesis, complications, and its management. Bhagavata has mentioned Dvansang and Kiksha disease as complications. Stage-wise impact of alcohol consumption on human being is summarized in Table 1. Tobacco and alcohol are pungent, astringent, and irritant in nature. They cause acidity, ulcer, headache, cramps, weakness, and body ache. Slowly, they block personal, economic, and social development. Addicted person engages in a vicious cycle of physical and mental health hazards and may adopt antisocial behavior. Owing to the overconsumption of various products containing nicotine, such as tobacco, gutka, karini, masala, supari, jarda hookah, bidi, and cigarettes, people may develop many symptoms. At first, difficulty in deregulation, lockjaw trouble and mouth opening, change in voice, and so on, but pain is totally absent. Hence, most of the times these features get neglected. Owing to its abuse, white patch called as leukoplakia and submucous fibrosis develops. However, if it's not treated and nicotine products are consumed regularly, then red patch appears called erythroplakia, which later may turn into blackish one known as melanoplakia. It is cancerous, and non-healing ulcer may appear in maxilla, mandibular region, or chin and oral cavity. The harmful effects of smoking extend far beyond the smoker to the peripheral public. Exposure to secondhand smoke can cause serious diseases and deaths. Pregnant and lactating mothers should prevent the use of all toxic drugs to avoid fetal congenital abnormalities, miscarriage, stillbirth, premature birth, and withdrawal symptoms. The role of Ayurveda treatment principles. Pragapara means intellectual blasphemy, which is the major reason of any illness, and Sadvrita Archarasayan and Satvajaya Chikitsa play an important role in preventing Pragapara. Adoption of Ayurveda lifestyle, daily and seasonal regimen, body purification by Panchakarma, 5 major procedures of detoxification, meditation and yoga, along with medication as replacement therapy based on withdrawal symptoms, are very safe tools to combat addiction on both of substances. In Ayurveda, some interventions have been advised, such as simple moral principles and the right conducts, under the heading Sadavrita. Achar means behavior, and Rasanya means rejuvenation. That AR results in rejuvenation of body and mind. Following these measures, one can prevent addiction problems remarkably. It is a need of the hour to explore the role of Ayurveda in present context. According to Ayurveda, body and mind are same entity and direct their interrelationship, therefore diseases may affect vice versa to each other. The role of change in lifestyle. Satvajaya Chikitsa. Acharya Charak suggested few measures to overcome the dependence, such as inculcation of morals, habit of doing meditation, taking nutritious diet, and adopting pranayama. According to him, body purification, a good friend circle or peers, loving and caring ambience, and change of job, which reminds addiction, with strong willpower, and also helpful to get rid from the dependence of nicotine products and alcohol. SC is non-pharmacological Ayurveda psychotherapy, which includes counseling, Pathra diet therapy, and controlled use of objects. It can be used in today's practice with judicious ways at home by an expert. Replacement therapy means medicated, congenial methodological use of wine, which is the best treatment of alcoholism as per Acharya. Discussion. In Ayurveda, 3 types of alcoholism have been mentioned. First one is panadye, which is due to over-intake in empty stomach or before digestion of previously taken wine. Second is februm or panakram, which is due to the consumption of agitating wine. And the last one is due to the sudden withdrawal of alcohol. Sushrit has described 3 conditions: paramata, parajna, and panavibran, due to the dominance of kapha, pitta, and vata, respectively. There's more here. I'm not going to go into the rest of that. I'm going to move on to the role of meditation and yoga. The mindfulness of breath meditation, anapana, observation of the natural breath coming in and going out, in turn leads to academic improvement by enhancing memory and creativity. It helps to take right decision, development of self-confidence and courage. It also augments intelligence, social, emotional, and physical quotient. Thus develops healthy mind and body. Yoga relaxes and energizes both the body and mind. The role of associated trigger management. A day is fixed to quit, placing a reminder image on the mobile wallpaper. Person should be engaged in work or hobbies such as sports, music, gardening, or remain social. Yoga, pranayama, and meditation are excellent ways to tackle de-addiction, including Ayurveda psychotherapy, Sattvaje, a change in peer group, place, and way that reminds about drinking or nicotine use is helpful to overcome an addiction. Thus, this review has interpretation of various Ayurveda principles, such as Tattvache, AR, Sadvrita, use of wholesome food and lifestyle, good friend circle, support of family, and covering all environmental issues as needed of Madhya, an amalgamation of all the three treatment modalities of Chikitsa, Yakta Parashray, Dave Parashray, and Sattva has been included at a time to get de-addicted by psychotropic substance abuse of tobacco products and alcohol, which causes tridosha and rajatama, tamas, procrastination, and ujo are poisonous accumulation of toxic substances. The Victor Prache Chikitsa related to dependence of tobacco and alcohol is bifurcated in Shamanadharis, Patantric, tapering with replacement therapy and Shodham procedures, Panchakarma and Pathya, wholesome food, and proper via lifestyle as adjunct modalities. Conclusion. In Ayurveda, there are no direct references related to the management of tobacco de-addiction, although alcohol de-addiction description is in detail. However, Ayurveda principles such as daily good conduct, dietary guidelines, yoga, panchakarma, and SC are applicable in de-addiction of any substance abuse. The medicine therapy mentioned in the context of Madhyaya Chikitsa can be claimed as beneficial, as there are experience-based evidences of utility of those formulations, specifically replacement therapy with medicated reduced quantity of substance drug. To improve life and to explore further scope of Ayurveda in the management of this burning issue, scientific research are needed to be undertaken.